Hi everyone and welcome back to a little bit of Path of Exile. We are playing Scourge League and we did finally break into red maps, and we are on our quest to collect the last couple of watchstones. And yeah, completion is on 57 right now, and I'm just trying to create a couple of maps in the higher tiers, and for that reason I have 3 watchstones here, 2 here, and I'm just trying to build it up slowly while still collecting some white and yellow maps on the way, which seems to be okay. But yeah, what have we done? We actually have done a little bit of a respec. We went over to Wand and Shield, and the investment into this build went from like half an exalted to 2 exalted, because the Wand did cost me 1x to get. It was a +1 to cold, as well as increased crit magic wand. I just regaled it and crafted crit strike multi on it. But yeah, that can be much better, obviously. And the shield is just good crit, a good amount of life, and a little bit of mana regen is always seriously good. But that brought our life pool to over 5,000 and our energy shield up to 1,300. We also made our way through the 4th lab, got our very much needed ascendancy for boss damage. Convergence is a huge boost, and also the Wand Mastery with unnerve enemies for 4 seconds on hit is actually a very decent boost as well. And I was just like, okay, hopefully we can get a little bit of defensive layers with stuff like that. 1% chance to block attack damage per 5% chance to block unequipped shield. So that's like, what? Chance to block 25, so that's 5 points of block attack damage. If you take a quick look, we are on 30% and 24, and this was 12 and 12 before. So yeah, I want to get a recover life on block shield in this slot. Obviously, that will help a lot. Other than that, plans get a 6-link that is actually good. We basically need a Shaper-influenced Val Regalia, which is quite expensive at the moment. And yeah, we leveled to 88, which is actually fine. But yeah, let's take a quick look at red maps. As you can see in the background, there was a little bit of an experiment going on in the Forbidden Woods. I rolled a map there, which was just insane, and I didn't realize what I have done. But then I checked the map mods again, and I saw like it was multi-projectiles as well as projectiles chain, increased AoE, and double crit. And I don't know why I did not see that, but it was not doable for me. And that is one of the shortcomings of this build, right? I mean, we are level 88, we are in red maps, which is cool. But yes, defensively we are still on the struggle boss, and I mean, we will probably die in this map as well. It's not as insanely rolled as the other one, obviously, but still, at the moment I'm fully expecting deaths incoming. Also, the League mechanic is just not doable in the high tier at the moment for me. Those are just like one-shots that are begging to happen. So yeah, currently not doing the League mechanic, which is a bit sad. I know I wanted to talk a little bit about it when I make the next video, but here's the deal. I was actually pretty sick over the last week, and I was really, when I was playing for like half an hour, and then I went to sleep again for a long time. Yeah, which was kind of necessary. But now that I'm feeling better, I was like, okay, I want to make a quick video showcasing where the build is at, what it's capable of, where the problems are. I think that's also very important, right? Mostly when I play a build after a build guide, I rarely have to talk about a build's weaknesses, because these guys know way better what they are doing than I am. But still, I'm very glad how far this build has come. And honestly, for a league starter, yeah, it probably was a little bit slower and a little bit more depths were involved, but I'm still very much positively surprised how far we have pushed this build. Honestly, fairly enjoyable, and I don't regret it. I honestly do not regret starting with this build. And I think I said this in the video where I was talking about what my league starter will be, that I was just okay with stuff taking a little bit longer, and that's still the case. Like, that's perfectly fine with me, and I'm not like disappointed at all. Let's activate our Wall Righteous Fire, which has killed me in the past. I had some ill timings with that thing, not gonna lie. Oh, that's always fun when it happens though. Hey, there we go, there's another tier 13 map dropped. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, that's kind of how the build runs at the moment. Damage-wise, it's not even that bad. I mean, if you take a look in the hideout, we are on like 76% crit. With our flasks, we are on 87, and the crit multi on 400 and almost 450 actually. That's very decent for the gear we have. With a spell crit chest, we will or should be able to get rid of our diamond flask. And once we are getting rid of that, we have an series promise with the best elemental roll that we can get, which is awesome. That actually did drop for a buddy of mine, and he was kind enough to give that over. So yeah, very glad about that. We are down to 35 chaos again though, which is a-okay. As I said, I invested like 2 exalted into this build, maybe even a little bit more, but that's definitely worth it for a league starter. And yeah, future plan is just to A, make this build a little bit tankier, and B, maybe get a boss killer, because that's really where the struggle boss begins, is like in those Maven encounters here. Holy smokes, 3 and 4 bosses were basically no problem, but like the 5 or 6 way fight that I done in Glenek was insanely difficult to do. Even though we can freeze and chain freeze map bosses most of the time, if you just get an unlucky attack, you're just a goner, and that's not too much fun, right? So we might have to get a boss killer up and running at some point. We definitely need some more currency for that. But for mapping itself, I really enjoy the playstyle of Freezing Pulse and the Herald of Ice explosions. Also, I need to mention this, I did buy a level 21 Freezing Pulse. This was like 10 chaos, and it is one of the best upgrades that you can get once you have a 6-link. Get the level 21 Freezing Pulse and you will be fine. Also, I had serious mana problems even with an Enduring Mana Flask. My buddy actually had the Herald of Ice enchant in his lab, and he offered me to put that on because nothing was there for him to enchant, and I was like, it would actually help me, and it did. My mana sustain is a little bit better. Also worth mentioning, we finally have an Anoint. It's the first Anoint that I always say is very good for casters. It's Prodigal Perfection. That just is a good mana boost, and it is an okay spell damage boost for the beginning. Seriously, Clear, Azure are the oils you need, as you can see, and that is just a very convenient way to go about it. Jewels, we have pretty much just 1 stat or 2 stat jewels at the moment. We have a bit of crit chance for cold skills, increased mana, double res, And for the other one, we have pretty much the same thing, but instead of mana, we have 7% increased max life. And obviously our first snow. Yeah, so I'm not really sure about these nodes. I do kind of like those, actually. So I probably keep those, but it's kind of hard to decide which ones are worth taking. We would have like Arcane Sanctuary up here, which can be very good, especially you get a little bit of spell block. But that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels, which would put me on 93. That probably is okay. But I'm also thinking about interruption avoidance over here. That would give us a little bit of LE res as well. But yeah, that could be a possibility. Other than that, the difference to the staff variant is pretty much more defenses. And I think that's very important. The crit stuff on the wands is very decent, actually, as well as the wand mastery. As I said, on nerf is just a good amount of damage increase. Same goes for conversions. Current Cyrus DPS with conversions and Val Righteous Fire is going around 650k. So without Val Righteous Fire, we might look at around 550,000 damage per second at the moment, which honestly, that's not too bad. Sure, it's not 1 million, and sure, we do not have our Anoint, which will give us the Culling Strike, but that's all right. We will get there, actually. So yeah, I'm not too worried. And we might even have an idea on getting Culling Strike into the build in a different way. For the moment, we will keep everything how it is. I think those are level 86. Yes, they are. So we might recraft these guys over here. Honestly, my gear is trash, but that's a-okay at the beginning, right? I will say, as you can see here, strength and dex, strength and dex, strength, strength and dex. It's like, it's a running theme, mostly because Sniper's Mark, actually. But yeah, I mean, we needed to get to 177 dex and 224 strength. Strength is a bit overboard, but dex is actually at the point where it needs to be. And I think that's the most difficult part of this build, is getting the strength and dex you need. By leveling, you can go for like agility and might. Another good thing is to get precision. That's 20 dex, right? With this one here, you gain 20 strength and dex. Also, what you could do is take life and then coordination for a little bit more dex. So it can be a little bit tricky to get all the dex you need, but once you have it all up and running, you should be fine. The other stuff that needs a lot of dex are your strength and dex, or your golems, your herald. That is really a thing that you need to keep in mind. But yeah, as you saw, mapping perfectly fine. Absolutely enjoy the build for mapping. For boss killing, it is definitely not. It's not there. We might get there with better gear. Mainly Tailwind boots would be nice. We could go and try to get Culling Strike gloves. That could be something. And we need to check if we can get another helmet enchantment. That would be for Freezing Pulse. It might help, it might not. We will see about that. But this is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, take care. Bye.